In today's episode of Gaming Off the Grid, we are going to take a look at every single, all 29 PlayStation 2 launch titles and let you know if you should stash the game in your collection or throw it in the trash. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Mammoth by Great Notion Brewing Company. It's an imperial stout with chocolate, cinnamon, marshmallow, and vanilla.
I'm pretty excited about this one. You know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss one of our bi-weekly uploads. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's play some stash or trash with the PlayStation 2 launch titles.
Hey everybody, I'm Chronik Spartan, and one of my favourite things to do is grabbing a good beer, kicking off my shoes, relaxing my socks, and watching one of my favourite YouTube channels, Gaming Off the Grid. Cheers.
After 4 long weeks of playing every single PlayStation 2 launch title, we're here today to have a little fun. I had this vision, kind of this little dream, if you will, of creating a game show called Stash or Trash.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the latest game show to sweep the nation. It is called Stash or Trash. We're gonna pick launch titles for the PlayStation 2 and decide if we're gonna keep it in the collection or throw it in the dumpster because it's a piece of shit. Our first 2 contestants are those 2 little douchebags out of Des Moines, Iowa, Gaming Off the Grid. Come on down, boys.
So what do you think, buddy?
I don't even know where to begin. First off, don't quit your day job. Let's stick to YouTube videos. You would not be a good game show host.
Well, thanks for raining on my parade, but
Sorry, man.
Anyway, we're going to dig through these games and let you know if you should stash them in your collection or toss them in the garbage. And there's a wide array of games here, 29 to be exact, so we're going to go through them relatively quick, and we'll just kind of put a keep pile and a trash pile. Starting off, we're going in alphabetical order, by the way. Armored Core 2.
Okay, this is a great game. If you're a fan of mech assault games, this game is fantastic. I think definitely keep.
I love this game. Age Tech, gotta love it. Some of the developers, you're gonna see a consistent reoccurrence of them.
There was a lot of common developers. The controls are a little tough because it's a mech game, but it's still really fun.
I think you stash Armored Core 2. Moving right along to DOA 2 Hardcore. Fighting game by Tecmo. What do you think of this game? I had a lot of fun with it.
I did have a lot of fun, and I'm not a big fighting game fan, but we played as a professional wrestler. I honestly did not know this was a fighting game looking at the cover. I thought it was going to be like a mech game or like a shooter or something. Nope, but it's a fighting game, and it's really fun.
I say we stash this game. It's fun. I love the cutscenes, a lot of stupid humor. I remember when he like looks at the poster, and I don't know what he's getting ready to do with it.
Yeah, like, he's making us some weird noises.
Yeah, he's like, But anyway, there's some good humor here, and this is one of those games that I don't feel is super heavily reliant on combos and stuff, so I like fighting games like that. So, stash DOA 2. Dynasty Warriors 2.
This game is fun, so if you've ever played Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, this is basically the original of that.
It's kind of where it kind of originated.
Territory fighting. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, it is fun. There are better Dynasty Warrior games on the PS2 for that matter, but you'll see, I don't even know how to say it, Koei? They're another common developer during the launch title section of the PlayStation 2, but I say we're gonna stash Dynasty Warriors 2.
I'm surprised, based on playing these, that the first 3 are keepers.
We're on a heater. I'm gonna pair these together. ESPN Track and Field and ESPN Winter Games Snowboarding.
To be honest, when we first started this, I thought these games were gonna be garbage. I thought definitely they were gonna suck, but you know, we spent the most time playing these games. ESPN Track and Field, holy crap, it's fun. It's up to 4 players. That would be a great party game.
It is. They're both Konami games, but the snowboarding game is cool. You know, coming out of the era where, you know, you maybe had, you know, your 1080 snowboarding and all that. This was fun. Intuitive controls.
It was fun. I wish, it just makes me want to play like arcade snowboarding or Tony Hawk. It's not quite, but it's still really fun.
I see that's a stasher, but of the 2, ESPN Track and Field, and I have not played a ton of Track and Field games, so if you like put this on a line, I don't know where it ranks. But what I will tell you is every single event, we were playing 2-player, and we would not stop until one of us got gold because it's so fun.
And a couple of
so
us
challenging.
Set world records, so we played it a lot. We played this game for like over 2 hours.
The track and field game, stupid.
It's
how fun it
stupid
is.
fun. I hate admitting that I had fun with this, but it's a fun game. Check it out.
Hey, another age tech. Hey, told you there's going to be some reoccurring developers here. Eternal Ring.
Okay.
This was the first person, like, RPG adventure type of game,
Yeah.
if I remember right. Man, some of these games, it's hard for me to think that I would want to put in the amount of time that it would take to full on beat the game.
Yes.
Because I know there's better offerings in that genre. They're just kind of confused, very bland environments.
That's what's crazy is these are launch titles, so
Yeah.
it's the beginning of the PS2. So I have all these high hopes for all these fantastic games, but they didn't come out till later in the PS2.
Yeah.
By the way. So yeah, a lot of these games, especially this one, it just felt like bland and boring.
Middle of the road. I haven't looked up reviews. I'm guessing when this launched, it probably got rated like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. It's serviceable, but again, if you're gonna put the time in, I would say this goes in the trash pile.
Yep.
Another age tech game. See? Evergrace.
I feel like it's in the same boat. It's another RPG, and it could be because we didn't put that much time into it. We didn't invest 20 plus hours into it. But I don't know. I just couldn't.
This one, if I remember right, the story, the cutscenes, they were just super annoying and long.
Yeah.
Was this the one where he's rubbing the rope? I can't
Oh
remember if it was
my
that one or the other one.
God, yeah.
But Evergrace, I mean, there's an element, you know, I kind of felt like maybe it was a poor man's, like, what would you say? Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, okay,
but
yeah.
very poor man's. Again, if you're going to put the time in, way better offerings. This is definitely not a can't miss title. I find it hard to believe that this thing, again, back in the day, would have pulled an IGN score better than a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I would doubt.
Moving along,
Oh my
the
god.
Fantavision. I still don't quite know what the hell we were doing.
Yeah,
in this
I don't.
game,
I
but
just
I had
remember
fun with it.
This game is a blast, but what was I doing? I don't know. It's something with fireworks and combos and visual.
It's beautiful. It's got like a psychedelic puzzle game.
It kind of reminded me of like Tetris Effect because of that,
Yeah.
lights and bright.
So
But
you got to shoot the lights, but then when
Weird.
you shoot a light, it links you. Now you're that light that you just shot to shoot another light. So it's
and
really
then you can,
hard
and then you
to
can build
map your
combos, and then
yeah.
there's cool things when you're playing it 2-player. You can flip the screens.
Yeah.
It's fun, but what is it? I don't know. And this gets the award for the creepiest intro I've ever seen. Like,
It's
what in
goofy.
the world?
What do you think, stash or trash?
I think Stash because it's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun, and it's a good co-op game. Moving right along, another mech game by Working Designs Game Arts, Gun Griffin Blaze.
I want to say that this has the best cover I've seen
Oh, yeah,
in the
it's-
longest time, dude. It's holographic.
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
got like
cool.
a shiny finish, almost like the finish on Topps Chrome football cards back in the
Ooh,
day.
yeah.
Kind of got that look to it. This game's, again, controls were weird, but once we got them, I loved the destructible environments
Yes,
in this.
super cool destructible environments, different types of enemies.
Yeah.
It was really cool, but dude, the hardest part about this game is the controls
Yeah.
because one button's move, it's just very confusing. It took us so long to figure out the controls, but it was fun.
I didn't even notice they have that same finish on the manual.
Oh, that's really
That
sweet.
is pretty cool. I think this is a stash. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for mech games. I just like
they're just
destroying
fun.
shit. And we just could destroy the buildings and stuff.
Oh.
It was fun. It does have a learning curve. I said it'd probably take you 10 to 15 minutes to actually feel like you know what you're doing with the controls, but
I think I got to
stash.
keep.
Okay. An RTS, real-time strategy game.
Yeah, so
Kessen.
if you're a fan of like Catan or Risk or
Yeah, Koei, I'm probably saying it wrong, but another appearance from them during the launch. This is a serviceable RTS game. I'm going to kind of
Yeah.
bring back what I said about those two age tech games, Eternal Ring and Evergrace. Would you sock the time into this knowing the other RTS offerings on the console?
And it is very bland. I think when this game came out, though, I would have had fun with it. If I would have got this launched with my
Mm-hmm.
PS2, I would have been like, okay, this is badass. But now knowing what I know, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm ever going to play it.
I think it's got to go in the
Yeah.
trash. Now, I'm going to I'm not going to pair anything together. We're going to go with Madden 2001, a launch title for the PS2. This game's really good. It was really fun to go back and play.
Yeah.
But being Madden 2001, the offering on the 64 and the PS1, this is a gimped down version. It's like they had to rush this to get it out. The physics are there for something great.
Yep, which happens 02, 03, 04, 05.
Yeah, it's one of those games, like, this is not a bad game. This is, if you would have got this at launch, you would have been like, holy shit.
Yeah, you would have played it all the time.
I'm leaning towards trash. I don't know if those of you I loosely talk about on the channel, I'm a huge Madden fan. But to your point, why need to keep this in your collection when you can get into 03, 04, 05,
Yeah.
and there's so much more of an offering. Again, this is a gimped down version. The modes are a lot more shallow than even the PS1 and 64 offerings.
I mean, it was fun playing at co-op. It is awesome that John Madden is a freaking announcer. I love it,
miss
dude.
him in the games.
It's just, I used to play old Madden all the time, even though I sucked at him, just because of John Madden.
I would love
dude.
for them to take the time to like stitch together all of his like
Sayings
parts and like put him in one of the new
Why
games.
can't they do
or have
that?
him come back? And I don't know how lucid John is. He's old as shit right now. But
I didn't know he's still alive.
oh, old Johnny Boy's still alive, all right. But I think maybe if he's lucid enough to lay down some voiceovers, he maybe wouldn't have to be a main announcer in the game, but just like some cutscene things or something, because his voice is so iconic.
And it makes the games just a lot better.
I don't know, we were just like playing it and laughing at some of the shit he was saying. Yeah, you know, you want to follow those receivers a little closer when you're playing man coverage.
Yeah, duh.
But anyways, I say trash, Madden.
Yeah,
01.
and it sucks because we're just talking about launch titles, but we're comparing them to non-launch titles, which doesn't make, it's not a fair fight, but we can
But it's
do
like
what we
if
want.
you're starting a PS2 collection, the
Yeah,
idea is
you're
if
not
you-
going to pick up launch.
If you see these, would you add them to your collection? Should you add them to your collection? I would say with those, probably.
Yeah.
not. Midnight Club.
Okay, I had high hopes for this because I thought it was badass. The first one, I was kind of disappointed by this. I think it's Midnight Club 2 that's the good one.
So when you get into 2, and then I think that maybe Dub Edition's the next one, I remember really liking it at the time, but revisiting it, very, very bland.
Yeah, very
and there
dated.
are a couple other racers we're going to get to that I would probably rather play than this.
Yes.
You can sense the driving mechanics are starting to formulate, starting to get there. It's weird, but this game it lives on a lot better in my memory, I think yours
Yes.
as well, than it actually plays. What do you think?
I think we got to trash it even though the cover's awesome.
Yeah. Better Midnight Club offerings on the PS2. Moto GP. It's like a crotch rocket racer.
Which,
by Namco.
It's fun-ish, but you're on a bike, but the turn radius sucks.
Oh,
it's just, like, why can't you turn better?
It's so hard to turn. It's a leaning turn mechanic, and
It's
it's
I don't know.
rough.
I feel like later in the series, like maybe the second one, it gets
Yeah.
better. But the first one, man, I think trash it, man. It's rough. It visually looks great, but the controls,
it's
man.
just I don't know. We're not big into sim racers. NHL 2001. Now I'm speaking from a very novice area
Yes.
here because although I know a ton about Madden, I only played I think this NHL game on the PS2. I know in playing it, it feels great. It's a cool hockey game. I would rather play NHL Hits, but it's pretty serviceable. I don't know though how it compares to the other ones in the series.
I've only really played NHL Hits, so it's when I play this, I'm like, why can't I do what I do in Hits? But it's obviously, this is real life. I think it was fun, but
It is fun.
It's like I'd rather play the arcade game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if you're a fan of simulation hockey, you should probably try it.
Stash
Or-
or trash?
For us, I think trash.
Okay.
But for other people that maybe like hockey,
Yeah.
keep.
Orphan.
Oh god.
This game has got tons of potential. The voice acting and the mandatory cutscenes when you go into every single room,
and then opening chest, it goes through different cuts. Oh,
it's maddening. I love the art style. Kind of has a dark cloud
Ooh,
art style
yeah.
to it. If you're into like that anime, that look, the controls are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Can you put up with the pain in the nuts cutscenes that they just happen so frequently for no
and it's
goddamn
like,
reason?
I just want to play.
It's Activision. It's a pretty good launch effort, but the game's just, it's annoying.
Yeah, I think trash it.
Okay.
It probably was good when it came out, but in
We're halfway through.
In 2020, trash. All right. Cue ball. Man, to be honest, had high hopes for this.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of pool, and like you're like a diehard fan of pool, I would say pick this up because it's way too complicated for just a beginner.
It's I think
like-
the controls are just really goofy. I'll kind of make a cascading statement over the games we've talked about thus far, but this one made me think of it. A lot of the menus and the controls, and they're just not very intuitive. It would take us a lot of times 3 to 5 minutes to be like, dude, what are we doing? Like, what are we supposed to do
And
here?
especially in the beginning of when we were trying to do just a regular one-on-one game. It took us forever to figure out. There was like a weird thing at the beginning.
To choose who went first, and then
It's
like
called lagging? What's that?
I mean, everything tees up to be. I've played other pool games, and I tend to like pool video games, but you know, you get the right angle, but then the way the hitting is, like you hit circle to start the guy going,
and then you have to time it. It's just super weird.
Yeah.
I think trash, but if you're a huge pool fan,
I mean, could this not have used like the right stick to pull back, and then how straight you go forward matters with your accuracy, and the force you go forward with? They could
have done it like a golf game, you know?
It's very goofy.
Trash that bitch.
All right, Ready to Rumble.
Boxing. 2. Okay, so this game has a really cool art style. I will say that the training modes are kind of annoying and difficult.
Well, they're kind of goofy as far as like it takes you minutes to like what am I supposed to do?
So it takes forever. But the boxing part of this game is fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a arcadey boxy, but also sim boxy. It's like the blend of them.
Yeah, it kind of feels almost like a arcade boxing, but like almost like a little bit of a Tekken feel.
Oh yeah.
I do like this game. This game feels more just like the Dreamcast game, and not quite to that next level that I think the PS2 could have brought. But I love boxing games.
So are you saying keep?
I think we stashed this game. It's not one of the best boxing games ever made.
Yep.
But it is fun.
It is fun. Now let's move on to Ridge Racer 5. What do you think?
I like the Ridge Racer series in general. I feel like of the racers we played in this war of attrition, I'll call it, I think Ridge Racer 5 stands out. It had really good cutscenes, the graphics. I thought the environments were actually pretty robust.
Yeah. Out of all the racers, and I think there's a couple more we haven't talked about, this is the best one, but it's the 5th one in the series, so obviously they've had time to work the kinks out. This game was sweet. I'm not a huge fan of, those sim racers, but it was still really fun.
Well, I've always felt like Ridge Racer is kind of, it's a notch below like where your Gran Turismo games are. Like it is kind of sim-ish, but there is a little bit more of a video game element. And when I play video games, for the most part, I want it to kind of feel like a video game, not like I'm driving a real car.
I feel like Ridge Racer inspired Need for Speed.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
because it has that same kind of vibe.
It's kind of a hybrid. It's I would say more sim than arcade, but it does have those arcade tendencies.
I think
stash Ridge Racer 5 for sure.
Moving on to Tekken Tag Tournament. This game is sweet. I'm not a big fighting fan, but I just like it because it's tag.
Yeah.
You can tag in your partner, so if one person gets low, boom.
Yeah, and I think, is this game 1 to 4 players? It is. So
you can tag in another person that's playing.
I think for me, and I'm not a big Tekken fan, but I've only really ever played Tekken 2 and this game. I love that tag element.
Yep.
I think this game is kind of a crown jewel in the launch titles. It just, it looks good.
Oh, the visuals are perfect.
That tagging in is so fun. Like, it's just fun. I like it.
This is definitely a stash game. Moving on to Silent Scope, a Konami game. This game is fun, but I wish they would have made this into a light gun game. I don't know why. Maybe because they didn't have the technology yet for a launch title.
Yeah, because I don't think any of the gun con games were out at this time.
Yeah, they weren't. It's fun. It's weird. To move fast, you got to use the joystick, but then to be precise, you got to use the D-pad to move your scope. So
you're alternating.
It is kind of tough because there is a timer, but I don't know. I think it's simple and it's fun. And I
think if you would have got this at launch with like another game, I can picture if I would have got a PS2 at launch, I probably would have gotten like Madden 01, either Midnight Club or X Squad, which we'll talk about later, and I would have had a lot of fun with this game. It does bring all of the arcade elements with the exception of the peripheral of the gun, but the game feels really good. I mean, you freaked out. You did the stadium thing, and he freed the hostages the first time.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought I shot the president's daughter because it was such a quick, boom, and I was like, oh, but then I got it.
Yeah.
And it was so satisfying.
If you can't play this game in the arcade, it is pretty fun playing it on the PS2.
So I think stash this guy. Moving on to Smuggler's Run, another racer.
So the sequel of this is obviously superior, but I had fun with this, and the driving mechanics very GTA. I love like those, like, I don't know, you get the next checkpoint, that type of thing.
It kind of reminded me of like, Simpsons Hit and Run. Obviously this was before that, but it's like one of those, with the arrow, and I had fun with this.
Yeah, it's a fun game. For the drivers that we played, I mean, I feel like, or racing games, if you will, again, the controls on this are probably on par with Ridge Racer 5, so it's pretty fun as far as quality.
Stash that guy. Moving on to an EA big game, SSX. Yeah, obviously, the other ones in the series are probably better because things improved, but this game, man,
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, it's badass, it's fun. It's just an arcade snowboarding game.
Yeah.
What else do you want us to say?
I mean, I think you've got to possibly put that in the conversation with Tekken Tag as the best launch titles.
Yeah, I think maybe at the end we go through the stash.
And ESPN Track and Field. But
so much fun. Now moving on to Street Fighter EX3.
yeah, so other than the Street Fighters from the 16-bit era, obviously Street Fighter Turbo, you know, the one everybody loves on Super Nintendo's, the Street Fighter I've put the most time into. So it was kind of cool playing a Street Fighter from this era.
Yep.
I don't know how this stacks up. If I had to guess just how Street Fighter is, they probably release an EX3, an EF3, a D9er, 79-3. They do all these variations.
Niner.
I don't know.
Yep.
This game's fun. It does have a tag element in it as well.
Which is super cool. It's up to 4 players, which is awesome. So it's just like Tekken Tag. But I do think Tekken Tag is better than this.
I do as well.
But again, I am not very experienced with fighting games, so I don't know. I think keep it.
It was fun.
It was fun.
And again, being a novice for this era, for sure, of Street Fighter, this could be the worst one, but we had a lot of fun with it.
Yep. So, stash. Moving on to
THQ
Summoner.
I mean, this game, it's okay.
Yep.
I don't like the combat system.
Yeah, it's very weird. This game is super in-depth. There's a lot to do. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
If I would have got this when it came out, I would have been like, oh my god, and I would have lost myself into it. Mm-hmm. If I waited to put more time into it, I probably would have got sucked in. There's so much you can do. So many... It's an expansive RPG. And on the back it says Summoner is an absolute must-have game for the PS2. IGN said that. So, I think when this came out, it was awesome. But going back to it, I don't know. I didn't have that much fun with it.
I kind of go back, like with some of these launch titles, is it worth putting in that amount of time? A lot of the games we've picked are more pick-up. Yes.
Well, that's just the style that we like, though. So if you're a fan of these types of games, maybe experience some of the ones that we're throwing away, but just because...
I don't know a ton about Summoner. I find it hard to believe that someone out there's like, oh my god, dude, Summoner is the best PS2 game I've ever played.
It says on the back with IGN. Must play.
Yeah,
well, I'm saying must throw away. Now let's move on to Swing Away Golf.
What a dumpster fire.
Yes, this is the worst game in the stack. This is a golf game. How do you mess up a golf game?
And isn't it an EA game? I don't think it's EA Sports, but I think it's an EA game.
It's an EA game. It's a T&E soft game. So it's like before Tiger Woods.
Yeah, so you can see some elements of Tiger Woods, oddly enough, in this game, but they did it all wrong.
Yeah, and it's very Japanese themed, obviously, and it's just
it's a dumpster fire.
It doesn't play how it should play. It
literally took us probably 5 to 10 minutes, and we play a lot of golf games.
Yeah, we love our golf games.
To be like, how do we shoot? Because you get this meter that goes, but when you hit the button, there's only a slight, very ever so slight, like color variation to let you know when you hit it. So like it's an arc, you time it, and then you hit it on the way back down for accuracy.
Did I hit it?
It took like 5 minutes to be like, no, dude, it does change colors. It's only a little bit. So like if it's, I can't remember the color, but let's say it's pink or purple, it like fades a little bit where you hit it, but you cannot really tell.
No.
The game's just stupid. It's just a stupid ass game. It's total.
If I would have got this at launch, I would have been like, I'm gonna be Team Xbox now.
Yeah,
because of Swing Away Golf.
Total rough shot.
Yeah, that's definitely trash. I'm lighting that thing on fire. Moving on to something that's not trash. Time Splitters. What a great first-person shooter.
Yep.
It's so much fun.
Can we leap to say that this may be the best, not only like one of the crown jewels, but the best launch title?
Are you forgetting about Track and Field?
I mean, I do like Track and Field.
But yeah.
This game, made by some of the developers that did GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, and it transitioned so well to the PS2. Time Splitters 2 is actually better than this game, but this game, oddly enough, which Time Splitters 2 was on multiple consoles, this is a PlayStation exclusive. It's really good.
It's so good, and it's 1 to 4 players, so you can bust out that multi-tap, have some great split-screen shooter fun. Time Splitters.
It's great, and it's one of those games. The controls are a bit dated because they're in that GoldenEye style, but it takes you 5 minutes or less to get back on the horse, and then you're riding.
You're like, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Moving on to another fantastic first-person shooter, Unreal Tournament. This game is also 1 to 4 players, multi-tap goodness. This game's a blast, man. I love it.
I mean, they benefit from the fact that they had this game already on the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
so perfect Dreamcast game. Right up there with Time Splitters. I mean, we were playing it just me versus you and a few bots out there.
And it was just fun.
So fun. Great guns. Everything makes sense. It plays the way you should. The only weird part about this game, and it's always been like this, but there's like A through F control schemes.
Yeah, there's so many. It's
B is really
weird.
good. Control scheme B is kind of what I feel like most people would want.
It felt the best to me.
Yeah.
This game and Time Splitters reminds me a lot of Red Faction. It has that same style,
Yep.
and it's just a lot of fun, man. And this started a series of just awesome first-person shooters.
Yeah, because the Unreal Tournament series is great. I think with both those games, if you had a group of friends right now in 2020 and a multi's happened on PS2, you could lose a night.
And even you could do like a LAN party with that if you had a couple PS2s and a split.
Yeah.
It'd be badass. Moving on to Wild Racing. I thought this game,
There's just no depth.
I thought it was going to be cool because it was like Wild
buggies.
Racing. If they would have added weapons to this game, it could have been better.
I mean, you're
But
racing
it's just
those whatever they are, that pretty little doom buggy in my hand. But it's
It's a trasher.
trasher.
Moving on to the last game in the series, X Squad. EA Games. When this game came out, it was cool. But going back to it, oh, yikes. And we have actually talked about this game before.
There's something inside of me that I know this game isn't that great, but I am going to beat this game before I die. And it's probably going to happen as soon as these cameras go off. I'm going to start working.
And I'm going to go home.
I think you got to stash this game. I don't know what it is, but this was one of the first PS2 games I ever played.
So he's just stashing it for personal reasons.
I mean, the game's not that good.
Now you're trapped, stupid.
And it's only one player. It's only a one-player
I
first-person
can't
shooter.
throw that in the trash pile, dude. I just can't. X Squad.
All right. This is the worst game we're stashing, I'm telling you right now. It's fine. It's fine, but there's a lot better first-person shooters. That's all 29 of them. That kind of looks... It looks like we kept more than we got rid of.
Which I'm kind of surprised.
I am very surprised, because when we were playing these, I was like, this game sucks, this game's garbage, this game's... blah, blah. But let's talk about something that's not garbage or trash, and that's this beer.
A gift from Joe Wallace.
What do you
good
think
friend of ours.
of the Mammoth by Great Notion Brewing? It's an imperial stout with chocolate, cinnamon, marshmallow, and vanilla.
It does everything it says.
Yep.
Great Notion is a great brewery, and this is a great stout.
Oh, it's so good. So on the can, it looks like this mammoth's eating moon pies.
Yeah.
And this has like the delicious sweetness of the vanilla, of the marshmallow, of the cinnamon. Like, it just has good flavor, and it lingers.
Yep.
It's a linger. It's just so good.
The only thing I would maybe change a little bit is for me anyways, it's a little cinnamon forward.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm getting more of that on the finish. Like, that's what I'm tasting right now is cinnamon as opposed to that other
Now
stuff.
you pointed out, now that's what I'm tasting.
Which isn't a bad thing, but given like the moon pies on the front, I wish that was kind of the front, the marshmallow.
But it's still really good.
The most forward flavors, but this beer's just really good. I like it a lot.
Ah, so tasty.
So let's take a look at all the games that we are gonna keep. All right, before we go, we're gonna recap the games that we chose to stash, and then we are gonna give out our award, each of us, for our favorite game that we played during this run. Because I don't know, it was a war of attrition.
Oh man, it took forever.
Gun Griffin Blaze,
Great game.
Street Fighter EX3, Fantavision, ESPN Track and Field, ESPN Winter Games Snowboarding, Smuggler's Run, Tekken Tag, and Ridge Racer 5.
And then we have Silent Scope, SSX, Dynasty Warriors 2, DOA 2 Hardcore, X Squad, Unreal Tournament, Time Splitters, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, and Armored Core 2.
All right.
So I'm surprised
How about
that we kept this many.
You pick your favorite game out of that stack, and I'll pick my favorite game out of this stack. That's, I think, the most fun thing.
Yeah, because this is a random stack.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, done. Easy.
Okay. The games that we're going to pick out of our stacks, I'm going with ESPN Track and Field.
And I'm going with SSX. What'd you expect?
I mean, you guys would probably not believe how much time we lost in this game. You got over here today at like 8:30, and it was like 12:30 before we started filming, and this is the last game we had to play.
Yes, dude, we played it so much because we wanted to get gold.
Well, and the funny thing is, this was one of the last games we played because we didn't want to play it.
Yeah, we were like, this is going to be terrible.
So we were like,
But
we kept playing the game like that we had in the stack that we wanted to play the most.
Yeah, and it slowly
this
dwindled.
piece of shit was sitting there at the end, and turns out this game's really fun.
I feel like you can get this game for super cheap,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun, man. It's a Konami game, and there's so many different types. It's crazy because like it's not like a real game because you have to like do for all the different events. You have to like run with it with the D-pad or like swim. I remember I got the world record for swimming, dude. I felt good with that.
I got the powerlifting world record. I would say the one game mode in this that I didn't like was the clay pigeon shooting.
Yeah, that could have been better, but I mean, there was like 10 plus offerings for different track and field events, so
I loved it.
It's so much fun,
guys. This was a lot of fun. We forced ourselves through every PlayStation 2 launch title.
There's a lot.
And hopefully it gives you an idea if you're out there in the wild hunting. Don't overpay for any of these because for the most part, even the games we chose to keep,
It did take freaking 4 weeks to make this episode.
And with that is our announcement for our next Madness series. We are going to put a posting out of all the PlayStation 2 launch titles, and you are going to get a pick the top 2.
Yep.
So what we are going to do is every week after that, we are going to post a respective console and its launch titles, and you're going to pick the top 2. And then we are going to do launch title madness.
Yes, launch title.
Your picks will be inserted into our bracket, and we will take it from there, and we will determine the greatest launch title of all time that you just cannot live without.
This is going to be so much fun, but difficult because they get to decide what the best launch title game is, not us, and then we have to fight it. So a freaking Orphan and Swing Away Golf wins? Oh, man.
So it's going to be madness. It's going to be launch title madness.
So ready.
Stay tuned. It's going to be kind of a project because every week we're going to change the thing on our community tab.
Build.
But get your votes in because you guys get to pick the games that are going to be in the next Madness series, which is Launch Title Madness. Guys, we always appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel, and just having fun with us and being stupid. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid.
Let's do this thing!
You think we got it?
Yeah, that felt good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool art. What are those, donuts?
I think they're
Or the moon pies. And it's 2-player, obviously. Is it up to 4 players? Nope. Yeah.
Is it? Wow. It's good.
Yeah. It's got a lot of sweetness to it. And it's a linger.